Good morning. Good morning to all the third BCom computers and general students. The subject is banking theory and practice. It is one of the important subject for 80 marks. Okay. So I request all the students to listen the class. Please concentrate in the class. If possible, try to note down the important points. Welcome students. Welcome once again. Okay, so moving on to the topic. Previous class we discussed about the paying banker, and now the class is about statutory protection to a paying banker. So what is the meaning of the statutory protection to the paying banker? According to the law, according to the court orders, a paying banker can be protected in some situations. Okay, so bank law is protecting this paying banker. So what is that we are going to learn in this class? So first point, what is mentioned here? Statutory protection under Indian law. According to section 85 of Negotiable Instrument Act of 1881 offers protection to the paying banker in India. Sometimes small mistakes may arise by the paying banker. For that reason, the Indian law is giving a specialized section 85 of negotiable instruments to protect the paying banker in India. To claim protection under section 85, the banker should have fulfilled the conditions. He should fulfill some conditions according to his section 85. Who should fulfill the conditions? The banker should fulfill the conditions. What are that conditions? He should have paid an order check. Means the check which is in demand. He should pay that type of checks only. Clear? Such a check should have been endorsed by the payer or his order, which is given clearly by the payer on his order. He should have been paid in due course. In due course means what? In his presence. Okay. With the acceptance of this paying banker only, the amount has been paid. Okay. Next, one more point is also there. According to Stamp Act of 1853 in England. According to Stamp Act of 1853 in England, statutory protection can be traced, can be passed according to this act. Okay, statutory protections is explained according to the Stamp Act of 1853. One more point is also there. Section 60 of the Bills of Exchange Act 1882 gives the protection to the paying banker in England. In England, which section is protecting the paying banker? Section 60 of Negotiable Instrument Act of 1882. Whereas in India, Negotiable Instrument Act of 1881 and Section 85 is protecting the paying banker. Whereas in England, Section 60 and Negotiable Instrument Act of 1882 is protecting the paying banker. Okay. So, section what it is telling, where a check is payable to order, to endorse or on behalf of the payee, he should be paid. To claim the protection, he should file under section 85. Next, what is the meaning of payment in due course? Payment in due course means payment in accordance with the apparent tenor of the instrument, according to the time of that instrument. Instrument means what here? Instrument here means it may be a check, it may be the bills of exchange, or it may be the promissory note. If any these three things are there, means it is called as an instrument. According to the tenor means what? Time of that instrument. It should be in good faith and without negligence. The check should be properly presented with clear account number, date, signature, amount in words as well as in numbers. Okay, signature of the person, account number as well as a mobile number also should be presented. Then it comes in the good faith and without any negligence. Okay, to pay any person in possession thereof. When these all things are clear, then the paying banker can encash that check which is presented, instrument which is presented in the bank, under circumstances which do not afford a reasonable ground for believing. Suppose any small errors, overwritings, mistakes are there, means he cannot pay the check. So it is not essential to receive the payment of the amount thereon in mentioned. So it is not mandatory that whenever you present the check the cash is going to be received, because some the important points should be observed on the check, which is done by the paying banker. So this is called as what? Payment in due course. When he is paying, he is observing each and every point, then he is paying the check. What is the meaning of apparent? Essential features of paying in due course. We are discussing about the essential features of the payment in due course. So how many essential features are there? 3 essential features are there for payment in due course. So first and the foremost essential point is what? Apparent tenor of the instrument. What is the meaning of apparent tenor of the instrument? The apparent tenor refers to the intention of the parties as it is evident from the face the instrument. So how the instrument is appearing is playing a very important role. What is the instrument here? The check is the instrument. How it is appearing? Is it evident? Okay. Example also he gave. If a drawer grows a check with post dated, this intention is to make the payment only after a certain date. If it is paid before the due date, this payment does not amount to payment in due course. So what is happening? Post dated. Suppose today is October 10th. Okay, and on the check the date is written as December 10th, and the person carried this check and he presented in the bank and he want the cash, means it comes under post dated check. So this is called as a tenor of the instrument, by which date, on which date the check should be presented in the bank. That is called as a apparent tenor of the instrument. Okay, the apparent tenor you understood, I think. If it is paid before the due date, this payment does not amount to the payment due course. So the payment of the countermanded check does not amount to the payment in due course. Suppose according to the bank rules it should not be present, it should not be encashed. Suppose the paying banker encashed, means paying banker is going to be in risk. Clear? Next point. What is the next point? Payment in good faith and without negligence is the second feature of payment in due course. What is this point saying? Good faith forms the basis for all banking transactions, and so it is taken for granted as regards negligence. The banker may sometimes be careless in his duties, which constitutes an act of negligence. The banker may sometimes be careless. If negligence is proved, then he will be in a problem and he is not going to get any statutory protection according to section 85. Who is under the negligence? If the paying banker did not check all the details on the instrument presented, means he is going to be not protected according to section 85. So he should check the faith of that instrument. Neglecting should not be there here. Okay. Examples here: payment of crossed check over the counter. Payment crossed check means what? On the left hand side corner, 2 lines are drawn across parallelly to each other. That is called as crossed check. If that crossed check is brought to the bank, means it should not be paid. It should be account transfer. Suppose if it is paid, means who did the mistake? Paying banker did the mistake. Payment of post dated check before maturity. Post dated means what? The long duration of is mentioned, okay, on the check, but the paying banker encashed, means he paid the amount, so he is going to be under risk. Failure to verify the regularity of the endorsement. Any material alteration, anything mentioned on the check he did not check properly, means he is under the risk again. This is called as a verification of the regularity. Okay. Third point. What is the third point? The third point is explaining about payment to a person who is entitled to receive the payment. This is the third point of payment in due course. The third essential feature of payment in due course. The banker should have made the payment to the holder of the instrument. In other words, the banker must see that the person who presents the cheque is in possession of the instrument and should he entitled to receive the amount. So he check whether the appropriate person has bought the check to the bank and the person is known person to the person who gave the check. Okay, section 8 of the Negotiable Instrument Act defines a holder as the holder of the promissory note or a bills of exchange or a check, means any person entitled in his own name to the possession thereof and to receive the amount therein from the parties thereof. So whose name is mentioned on the check is called as a holder here. So that he should check and the same person is presenting the check or not. The paying banker should verify and then he should encash. Next, protection to the bearer check. Protection has been extended to bearer checks also under section 85 and subsection 2. Okay, refer. What is this meaning? Refer to endorsement chapter for section 85. It is paid due course. The banker is entitled to get the protection. Suppose in due course within the banking hours according to the rules and regulations, obligations he paid and some mistake has been happened, means he is going to get the protection under section 85 and subsection 2. If a bearer check is paid in due course, the banker is entitled to get the protection. Protection to a crossed check. Section 128 of Negotiable Instrument Act gives the protection in respect of crossed check to the drawer as well, provided it comes into possession of the payee. Section 128 of the Act explains the protection of the crossed check. So protection is given for whom? The protection is given to the paying banker if any small errors occurred on the crossed check. Protection to the material alteration. Protection has been extended to the material altered on the check also. Okay, protection to the draft. Protection has been extended to drafts drawn by one office of the bank on another office of the same bank. This was made possible by according to section 84 of 1930. So what is happening? Material alteration means any changes, overwritings and unfair things written on the check. So drafts also sometimes what is happening is one office is drawing the draft on one more office on the same bank. Okay, that can be material alteration, can be checked. Forgery of the customer's signature according to section 85 of the Negotiable Instrument Act gives protection only when the payee or endorser's signature is forged and the banker makes payment in due course. If a banker pays a check which carries a forged signature of his customer, it does not amount to payment in due course. It is so because every banker is expected to know the signature of his own customer. Hence, he cannot even think of claiming protection in the case of forged endorsement. So, if it is a manipulated signature, forged signature is there and the paying banker paid the amount, means he cannot get the protection under material alteration. According to which section? Section 85, he can't get the protection. Okay. Next, when a banker acts both as a paying and the collecting banker. When the banker is acting as both as collecting banker and the paying banker, it would be a collecting banker that a decision would have been taken. Okay, it was held that statutory protection is available only when the bank acts as a paying banker and not as both paying and collecting banker. He should not act in two places, that is paying and the collecting banker. Next, holder in due course. What is the meaning of holder in due course? Who receives an instrument innocently. Holder in due course is a person who receives an instrument innocently, unknowingly. In one hand the check came into existence, who has paid value for the same. Okay, one person got the check and the person paid the check also. Who has received the instrument before its maturity, before the given date. If the check is received, means it also comes under the holder in due course. who is in possession of the instrument as a bearer. He is responsible for the check which has been paid. One of the important conditions is to fulfill to become a holder in due course is that one must receive the instrument in good faith and without negligence. So once again, what is the meaning of the holder in due course is person who receives the instrument innocently. I gave the check to one more person. It has been missed, the check has been missed and it is received by one other person who doesn't know to me, so that also comes under the holder in due course. The person who paid, okay, one person came and presented the check in the bank and the paying banker has been encashed, means paid the amount, that also comes under paid value for the same. Next, who has received the instrument before its maturity means the person with seeing the date, okay, post dated check, he paid the amount. That type of person also comes under the person of holder in due course. Who is in possession of the instrument as a bearer? One of the important condition is suppose he neglected, he did not check the check properly, also comes under the holder in due course. Okay, rights and duties in holder in due course, if you see, he obtains a better title than that of the owner. Okay, who is getting this title? The paying banker is getting this title. He obtains a better title than that of the owner. The defective title of the previous endorsers will not adversely affect this title. Previously some mistake has been happened. Okay, now that mistake is not presented, so he should check all the details. Until the instrument is finally discharged, every party to the instrument is liable to him. Who gave the check, who issued the check, who paid the check, whose account the amount is transferred, who came to the bank and presented the check, every person is liable until the check is completely going to complete its duty. He can pass a better title to others, since once the instrument passes through his hands, it is posed to all the defects, unwanted, okay, unsatisfied here means unwanted defects. Next, even the drawer of the negotiable instrument cannot claim invalidity of the instrument against him. So drawer of the negotiable instrument cannot be can invalid of the instrument. His claim cannot be denied on the grounds of the payee has no capacity to endorse. The principle of estoppel. Estoppel means what? Estoppel is a legal principle that prevents someone from arguing something. Estoppel means some people comes and argues in the banks. So that is called as a estoppel. The principle of estoppel is applicable against the endorser to deny the capacity of previous parties. Recovery of the money paid by the mistake. Suppose by mistake paying to one person, it has been paid and credited to one more person, means such type of cases, in few conditions there is a recovery and in few conditions there is no recovery. So which is places the money can be recovered? Money received is recoverable. Money paid under a mistake of fact is recoverable. Mistake between the party and the party receiving, okay, if it is identified clearly means we can get. Suppose money received is recoverable. Money paid under the mistake of fact is also recoverable. Mistake between the party and the party receiving, both anyone did the mistake means it is receivable. So there are the circumstances where the amount cannot be received. Which cases? Money paid under a mistake of law. But according to the law, if it is paid mistakenly means it is not recoverable. Money paid on the negotiable instrument to a innocent holder is not recoverable. I repeat the point. Money paid on a negotiable instrument. Negotiable instrument is what? Promissory note, check and bills of exchange, which is paid to the innocent holder, that is not recoverable. When a person who receives money in good faith by mistake alters his position relying upon it, need and return the same. So such conditions, if he returns, okay, if he is not returning, he cannot get the money back. Money paid to an agent by mistake. Money paid to the agent by mistake cannot be recovered. Okay, thank you students. It is also one of the important 10 marks answer, 12 marks answer for your final examination. I request all the students to concentrate on this answer because it is very important long answer for the final examinations. So what was today's topic is due course on paying banker. Thank you.